this webinar. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us to this online training session with the topic Tips and Tricks for Quality Contributions. Slide, please. Yeah, Florence will present for you, but I think it's good to know that this session is one in a series of online training sessions, and you have the QR code on the right side where you can go directly to our webpage and have a look to all kinds of previous training sessions. This webinar is being recorded, but it's good you are not filmed. So we didn't have to ask any GDPR consent to you, as you will be not filmed. And also your Q&As, the chat, they are not filmed at all. The recording will be made available online. And if you have any questions, we use the Mentimeter for today, and you can go to this Mentimeter by using this QR code. This QR code is normally available on every slide. So if it doesn't work at this moment or it goes too fast for you, normally you will have the time on every slide to scan this QR code, and we will follow up. And after the presentation of Florence, we will try to give an answer to all the questions. Okay, enjoy this webinar, and please, Florence, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Inge. Hello, everybody. So my name is Florence Bedouin. I'm working at the French Livestock Institute, which is an applied research institute working with ruminants. In the EU-FarmBook project, I'm coordinating a task which is dealing with quality of documents and materials on the EU-FarmBook in general, and especially for education and training. For this webinar, we have in total 45 minutes. I will talk more or less maybe 30 minutes, and then we have about 15 minutes for questions and answers. I will first tell you what I expect you will learn from this session, and then give you a short introduction to the EU-FarmBook. And then we will have two main parts, one about what is a good practice-oriented material, and a second one about tips and tricks and examples for writing good titles, good description, and keywords. So let's start. For today's session, I hope that by the end of this webinar, you are able to identify which materials are the most suitable for uploading onto the EU-FarmBook. And it's easier for you to fill in the fields of the upload form regarding titles, description, and keywords, so that your documents will be easy to find for the users and meaningful for them too. So shortly, I think if you are here, you know already a bit what is the EU-FarmBook. But to set the scene again, I will tell you some words about it. So it's an online farm platform. You can go to the web address there, EU-FarmBook.eu, to see it. So you can already use it and find, I think, more than 1,700 different project outputs in there. It's still under development. And the idea is to gather and provide practice-oriented materials from the domains of agriculture and forestry. And sorry, I have a cold. And the idea is that people who contribute to feed the platform are partners of EU-funded research and innovation projects. And And if you have issues with how to contribute in general and log in and so on, you can see some of the other webinars. Also, the one which is called the Beginner's Guide. If we go a little more into what is a good practice-oriented material. So this question of good is, of course, subjective. There is no perfect answer, but still, we can give you some guidelines. So first, there is this question about, okay, which formats are taken up in the platform. So you can put up text documents, you can put up videos, you can put up presentations, podcasts, applications, datasets, and images. So in principle, all these kind of documents can be uploaded on the EU-FarmBook, and it's your choice to decide which ones are the most suited to it and to the users. And that's where we come to this idea of practice-oriented material. So the point is that the users, the target users of the platform are farmers, foresters, advisors, maybe also, and surely also teachers, vocational school, maybe at universities, and also some policymakers. But basically the core of our target is farmers, foresters, and advisors. And then if we think about their needs, and if we have been asking them also, their needs are that the content they can see of the EU-FarmBook is practice relevant, that the recommendations stand out. That means that it's easy to find what is a recommendation. Maybe it's put first, not, you don't have to go to the end of the document, to the conclusion to find it, but that is really easy to see. That the language is simple, and if there are complicated terms, they are explained. That also that it's easy to navigate through the content, and that the sources are mentioned and trustworthy, and that the context is described, so differences and similarities to own context are clear. And that's taking in mind this user's needs, that we best can find out what is most suited to the EU-FarmBook platform. If we think about different documents produced in projects, there is quite a variety, and they have different purposes. Very often you will have to produce deliverables and reports. And the audience for them are mainly academics, researchers, and DG Agri. In the structure and in the language, we will often use scientific terms. We'll have a large part about material and methods to explain how we have reached the results. And it's often quite process-oriented, and not so much maybe putting the results in front. And this kind of deliverable and report, it's possible to upload it on EU-FarmBook. So I'm not telling you it's forbidden, but it's not really suitable for our target audience. So that's not what we call a practice-oriented material. As a practice-oriented material, that's what we would like to have more of on the platform, is designed with in mind the audience being, for example, farmers, advisors, teachers, students. It has a non-academic and not non-policy language. It's often concise, and and it should be attractive to read, easy to understand, and really results-oriented more than process-oriented. So the process can be there a bit, but it's not what's interesting most the stakeholders who will the audience of these documents. If we look at some documents which are already on the EU-FarmBook, so here is one of them, and it's 2 pages from the BroilerNet project, and they have produced fact sheets of 2 pages. And what I would emphasize as nice for the user is that the title here is informative, that there are images that illustrate the text, that the text is divided into subtitles and paragraphs, so it's a bit easy to follow what it is about and jump from one part to the other. And there is part with benefits and limits about this practice. So that's make it really relevant for practitioners. And then you have a part with sources and references if people want to dig one step deeper. It's not so that practice-oriented material should always be very, very short and 2 pages. You can also find some that are long, like this one. So this is also on FarmBook. It's a document about marketing of biodiverse food products. And what is important in this kind of documents is that you have a clear navigation, and that there is a focus on recommendations and practical solutions. As I was telling you about, you can have text documents on the EU-FarmBook, and that's where the 2 examples before, but you can also have video. They are often very relevant also for practitioners. And we have also been putting up some guidelines if you are still in a project who thinks of producing practice-oriented videos. And it's quite important in a video that you have defined the objective and the message you want to get across. And ask yourself whether video is the right media, that's whether you have enough sufficient visual material. Just filming someone who talks will not necessarily make it very different from a text document. It's important to structure the content. Who is going to talk about what, when, where, the questions. Then of course you shoot the video, and it's important to edit it and make sure it's not too long. Usually 3 minutes is good and not more than that for the video to be seen in total. And many people watch videos without sound, so it's quite nice if you can subtitle it. And also if you can make small chapters so you can jump from one part to another part of the video. So I hope this first part gives you an idea about what we have in mind when we in the EU-FarmBook tell you, okay, focus on practice-oriented material for uploading on the EU-FarmBook. Now I will dig one step more in the uploading process when you write the titles, description, and keywords on the platform. Why do we have this part? The point is that in the project and in the platform, we have observed that too many materials have uploaded on the platform have titles which make sense in the project context for the participants of the project, but cannot really stand alone and are not meaningful for users who don't have the knowledge about the project. That there are some descriptions which are not meaningful for users and keywords which are maybe not precise enough, or and that they will weaken the findability of the material. So the idea is, I'm sure you have good materials, but it's important to put it in a way that will, for the user, when he will or she will click on and make a search, that the title and the description make so much sense that it shows that it's an important material for them to look at. So if we look at examples, starting with the title, on the right part here, you have an example of a material you can find on FarmBook right now. It's called List of Indicators for Self-Assessment as a Result of Task 2.2. Well. Please avoid internal project references. For example, the task number doesn't say anything to the user. Maybe it was the title of the document during the project, but you can give your contribution a platform title. So you don't need to change the document, but you can give it a title on the EU-FarmBook platform so that it's meaningful for the user. Yeah, so the title is the first thing the users will see, and they will decide often based on that if they want to see more. So good examples here are, for example, this one, environmental monitoring within greenhouse crops using wireless sensor. So it's concise, short, to the point, and it's giving the main ideas of the document and reflecting the content. Normally, reading that reflects quite well what it is about, and give a clear idea to the reader about what to expect in this document. Another good example is this one, improve biosecurity with your multi-actor farm health team. And what is also nice in this one is the use of action words. It makes the title more dynamic and engaging for the user. And also because if it's practice-oriented, it reflects more this practice-oriented part. Okay. When you upload a document on the EU-FarmBook, so you put the title first, and the thing that is asked just after is to write a description. The description is a small text. I think the recommendation is to keep it under 500 words, but it can be also shorter. It helps the user to quickly understand the material's content and relevance, and it offers a bit of context beyond the title. It should be clear and relatively short. And here, in this example, it's an okay description, but there are some things that could be improved. Here, if we look at this sentence, it's written during the project, there is a need to assess. And thus, it's a bit, as a reader, you think, okay, but is it then relevant for me or not? I don't know the project. And another sentence is evaluation and selection procedures will be carried out. And then you think, okay, it's a future tense. Does it mean it has not yet been done? Or Another question which can raise to the users reading that is that, okay, out at the national and EU level, oh, is there from specific countries in this document? So that can be some of the doubts. If we look at an example where I think, okay, that looks nice, and I understand what it is about and who it is meant for, I would maybe look at this one. The idea, so the recommendation is to clearly state the purpose of the uploaded material and describe the problem it addresses. You could explain why the resource was created and what specific issue or need it aims to solve. And this is because it helps the users to understand the resource's relevance and applicability to their own needs. It also should include the main messages and any results or benefits obtained or expected. So you can summarize the key takeaways and highlight any significant outcomes or advantages from this material, because then the user quickly grasps the value and impact of this material. It's also good if you can describe the intended audience. For example, this handbook of good practices in post-wildfire management is designed for forest managers and workers. So here is the audience stated. It's not that others cannot read it, but it will fit with a certain audience. And then if you can offer some explanation of the context, that's also nice for the reader to see how much it fits with their own context. So doesn't need to make it a very long text, but here, for example, it tells about the forest ecosystem in the Mediterranean basins where wildfires occur. So that would be some guidelines for writing the description. If we go to another point, that's the keywords. So when you upload your material on FarmBook, you first put the title, then you have to choose some types of documents and so on. You write the description, and then you have to write some keywords. When people look for something on the EU-FarmBook, they will, on the search, put some words which are relevant for them, and the engine will look for that in the title, in the keywords, and maybe in the description, and also in the description. And the keywords is actually quite crucial for finding your materials. Here is an example of keywords from a document. Biosecurity in poultry is as one keyword. I think it's relevant to have it as one keyword, but maybe it should also be written biosecurity alone and poultry alone. And also here, there was a mistake. They wrote and cattle as a keyword where it should be only cattle. The point is that you need to separate the keywords with a comma. And I guess the person has written biosecurity in poultry, comma, pig, and cattle. And that's a pity it comes out like that. It's quite easy to correct, I think, and would make it more relevant for the search. You can, when you choose your keywords, you can extract terms and phrases from your description. It's possible to use multi-word key phrases. For example, here, detection support, as we had also biosecurity in poultry before. You can try to find synonyms or very closely related keywords. For example, you have something about grassland, and in another context, people will maybe search for pasture. So you want it to pop up, your material to pop up both for grassland and for pasture. Some people are very used to certain abbreviations, so you can add them, but you can also add the total term. So here in this, there is both UV and IPM that can be there, but do people really know what IPM is? Maybe some do, but some might search for pests. So you use both IPM and pest as keywords. Try to think like your audience. Consider the phrases your target audience might use when searching for similar resources. You can also test your keywords in a search engine and review the results to see if it would, if it goes in the direction you're expected. If your knowledge object is not in English, you can put keywords in the language of the knowledge object as well as in English, as the engine is able to translate. But if you have specific way to say things in a specific language, that's also adding to the fine tuning of this search. Yes. So I have been, I'm coming to the end of this presentation. So to summarize, about when we are talking about good quality practice-oriented material on the EU-FarmBook, you are the ones who can decide what is good quality. This is in your hands, and we trust you can do it well. And the recommendation is about, okay, think about your audience of practitioners and what do they need? What would they like to find on the EU-FarmBook? And then we are quite long on the way of a very good and useful material on the platform. Thank you very much for your attention. It's time for questions or comments, and Inge has access to the Mentimeters where you have already put many questions and answers. So Inge.
Okay, thank you, Florence. I think it was really very good and easy to follow, but indeed there are some questions. So here I see, does EU-FarmBook accept materials in different languages?
Yes, it does. You can put materials in the languages that it's been done in, and it's very good that there is, because we would like practitioners from all over Europe to be able to use the platform. There is automated translation in many languages of the platform itself, but it's nice, yes, if we can have a knowledge object in all the different languages which are relevant.
Okay, thank you. Another question that is related to this multilingual access of the platform, the descriptions. I have them in several languages. Should I add it also to that original knowledge object or practice-oriented material? Because now the metadata are all in English. It's about descriptions, keywords. So when you have one practice abstract, for example, in 5 different languages, what should you do? Add always the description and other additional information in English, for example, for all these 5 different languages, or should it be every time the original language? Do you understand the question?
I understand the question,
Yeah.
and it's a good question because I have also been uploaded materials in French where I was in doubt if I should write the description in French or in English. For the moment, I have chosen to do the description in English, so many people will be able to find and understand what it is about. But I'm a bit in doubt. Do you know, Inge, if we have an official recommendation about that?
Yes, I think what you can do is indeed you can do the upload and all the additional information in English if you have it already in English. But I would say also for the original language, if you have the keywords, for example, in French or Italian, that you can add this, because the moment there will be an automated translation, sometimes when it's very specific content, I think it's good to have both. But if you see that practice abstract, there is too much work for me to look for extra keywords, etc., in the languages that you don't talk, that you don't know, you don't master, then the English is perfect for all these metadata or these additional information. Yeah. Here we have a starters video of a project, and would that be a good practice-oriented video to share on the EU-FarmBook platform?
Oh yes, I think it's relevant and interesting too. Yeah.
Yeah. I think somehow when you shared with us, it's important that you have a goal, that you have also a structured message. Then I think a starter's video of a project, somehow, I think indeed it meets these requirements. Yeah, that's the difficult, I think. How long is a short text document or a report? How long? Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I had put a slide with a long document of something like 30 pages to show that it's not only 2 pages that is interesting for practitioners. It can also be a longer one. I think the most important is that it's easy to navigate and to find around. It's not so much the length, is that visually you can find around without having to read the whole 30 pages to get the message, but to have the key message highlighted. And then indeed, very often it's also relevant to have more information and to spend time on specific parts. So for me, it's not a hinder really the length in absolute number, but more the readability and findability of information so you can jump around.
Okay, yeah, that's a good tip. And then here we have also something about a deliverable. So we have deliverables from my project, and they are a compilation of all kind of practical sheets, practice abstracts. There is this easy navigation option, as in the table of content, you can click on that, on the specific titles and go to a practice abstract. But is that okay to upload this on the EU-FarmBook?
That's not an easy question. Of course, it's okay. I'm more wondering how in the title and description you can show all the richness that is in each practice sheet. So I think for the findability for the user, it's easier if each sheet is one by one, because then you have really a title, a different title for each one. But I can see it would be a lot of work for you to if you don't have them separately. So
Yeah.
I'm a bit.
I think also, Florence, somehow it's a balance. If
It's
you
a
say,
balance,
okay, I keep it at one big report with a compilation, for example, of your 30 practice abstracts, then it will be less findable afterwards by platform users. But if you say, I take now the time and do, like you say, I would print to PDF And then you have specific small reports. It takes more time with this additional information, that's true. But of course, you will gain much more benefit from it, because then your results will really be visible and taken up in practice. Yeah. And I have only one final question for you. Somebody has a very nice collection of an ended Horizon 2020 project, all kind of practice-oriented materials, but somehow the project ended, so no time. Is there any support?
Yes. Oh, I should also have put a slide about it. We have ambassadors in the project. You can find their name and email addresses on the portal of the projects, and they should be able to help you. They don't have so much time, but they should be able to help you with this task. And it's an issue with projects which have ended. And if you can find the resources yourself, of course, it would be very nice. But try to contact your ambassadors, and then we will try to find a way around it.
Yeah.
It's important we can keep these results somewhere.
Yeah, we will add a slide of the ambassadors to this presentation, because after this webinar, we will share the presentation and the video recording on the project website, and we can add the slide with ambassadors. Do you have some more examples of good action words for practice-oriented material titles? Some more examples, yeah.
Oh, then I should open the website and navigate. I didn't prepare any, but if you think we can have a look at the platform together and see what we find.
Yeah. Here I have, can other consortium members, except for the project coordinator, upload materials?
Yes. So, when you are a project partner, you are also co-owner of the material produced by the project. So of course, it's good to ask the coordinator that it's okay. But then we can give access to another project as an ambassador. So I'm an ambassador also, and I can see with you, okay, that's right, you're a project partner, and I can give you access so you can upload, and it's not necessarily the coordinator who is uploading.
Yeah, okay. When uploading a video, is it possible to upload SRT files in different languages, or should I insert the subtitle when producing the video?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, that's yeah.
That's a good question. Do you know Inge?
No, I know you have indeed that option that you can go to subtitles in different languages. So it's nice when it's integrated in a video, but if you add it, we should give an answer on that. Perhaps this is something that we can, several questions, we can answer them and add also that slide to the presentation, because it's also a question after this webinar. We will share the presentation on the project website. We will not send it to each individual participant, but we will share it on the project website. And I think here's still two short questions. Is there any economy involved if contributing to or using materials from EU-FarmBook?
No.
No, I think it's all free accessible. It's for free. It's giving you more the project output visibility and the real uptake in practice. It's not that you are rewarded with money or something. And then final question, do you provide guidance or perform checks on materials submitted for publication on the platform?
We can provide guidance, so you can contact us And if I go back to the presentation, I think there is my email address here. But we do not do a systematic quality check on all what is provided. I think that's not possible. But we are happy to help specific projects with some feedback.
That was it. Thank you all for attending this webinar. We hope you could learn a lot and you feel really enthusiastic and go for uploading to the EU-FarmBook platform. And of course, you are always welcome with any questions. We will add the slide to the ambassadors so that you would have this contact info, and also to our support page on the platform where you have several guides, manuals, tutorials and training materials. Thank you. Enjoy your day, and perhaps we will meet another time in another training session.
Thank you very much.